Okay, so welcome to our webinar, our deep dive webinar, print inspection in pharma environments. We're having a look in the precision and possibilities with the EyeC Proofiler. So today we are talking about GMP compliant packaging inspection. Just a quick look into this topic because we had this topic in our last webinar. If you are interested in a deeper look into this topic, you are invited to visit us on our YouTube channel. There we have the webinar recorded and available on demand. Then we have a look into data integrity, and I would like to give you a live demonstration of the EyeC print inspection solutions that we have. And we're talking about documentation and traceability. So my name is Doreen Wagner, and I'm part of the EyeC sales team for 7 years now. And I work in our team as a global account manager. I'm advising pharmaceutical companies to find the fitting solution for the print inspection in their environments. So EyeC is an expert and technology leader for quality inspection of printed materials. The company is owner managed and the headquarters is in Hamburg. We have about 70 employees here in Hamburg, and we're working very close together with our distribution partners in about 25 countries worldwide. And this is why we have around 3,000 inspection systems installed in about 100 countries. So some organizational aspects. The webinar today is about 30 to 45 minutes. You are muted when you enter the webinar. So if you have any questions, please feel free to raise your hands in between. My colleague Susan will keep an eye on any comments that will come up, and you can also type in your questions in the main chat of Zoom. So please feel free to ask questions in between. Otherwise, we have a Q&A session afterwards. So let's get into the topic. So just a quick overview, because we had this topic last time. GMP are guidelines to assure that the quality during the production process of food, cosmetics, or medical devices are safe. And GMP requires a written evidence that this process led to the planned result and is according to the applicable law and the standards. So all companies that are producing food, cosmetics, or medical components have to prove evidence, or to provide the evidence of proof that the quality has been checked and meets the requirements. So such requirements are the data integrity. This is a very important topic, that all data that we are collecting throughout the entire process are complete, consistent, accurate, trustworthy, reliable, and passed throughout the entire process. The audit trailing is very important for the GMP. It collects every data of changes and everything that has done to the process and the programs that you are using. The inspection according to the 4I principle, we have the electronic signature, which needs to be unique with the name, the date, machine, and everything, which is compliant to the CFR 21 Part 11. And overall, we need documented inspection results, and the protection from manipulation. So what can EyeC do to support to be GMP compliant in your print inspection? So according to the data integrity, we are using the Windows user rights for accesses and rights to any changes of the system. So we have a group of operators. You can define who in your team should be in the role of the operator by using this Windows user right management. And according to the Proofiler programs or the EyeC programs, they are allowed to start the profiler where we do the inspection. We can, or the operator is allowed to select parameter settings. We have different predefined settings. They are allowed to enter the job data. They load and scan the samples and the PDF. They are evaluating suspicious areas and finishing with the report, and can also type in comments in the profiler that are shown in the report, and finish the inspection with the report and the electronic signature. These are the only rights that the operator has. Then we can define a group of reviewers or QC managers who are allowed to create and change parameter sets, and who are allowed to change inspection settings, like the sensitivity of the system, if they want to adjust the defect size that is inspected. And overall, we have the administrator who has the overall rights and who is allowed to do updating of the software, installing and even deleting, which makes no sense, but he would be allowed to. And also he can change the Windows settings and has administrating user rights. So we are talking about the EyeC Proofiler, our offline inspection system for quality checks or spot checks of your samples. We have the scanner in different sizes, starting with the DNA 4 format up to DNA 0. And this scanner is working with a resolution of 600 dpi. And for our scanner systems, we have different options available. And one of this option that we are talking about today is the pharma security workflow. And this option bundle includes different programs and workflows with predefined settings, which are safe from manipulation. So everything that is required in the GMP standards. I will show you all these programs that I'm talking about in a few minutes, but I'd like to give you more insight of the theory behind it. So the inspection takes place in our EyeC Proofiler and is started and ended by an operator. So the report will include all the evaluation details, and we are doing a comprehensive print inspection. So we are inspecting the text, the graphics, codes, 1D, 2-dimensional codes, and also the Braille. And all these will be inspected in just one inspection cycle. So after the operator does this inspection and finish the evaluation, he will close the inspection with the report and the first electronic signature. This report is stored on the database and can be reviewed independent of time and place in the reviewing station. And the review station is an application that enables you to manage all pending jobs that need an approval, and that gives an overview of all pending examinations. And overall, there's the audit trailing, which is inevitable for the GMP environments, and the audit trailing collects every data to the system and the profiler examination. And for all of you who have worked with the CSV file of the audit trailing, it's crucial to work with it, because all the information in just one Excel sheet, it's very, very hard to find to review this large table. So we created an audit trail viewer. This application simplifies the reviewing of the audit trail data. You can predefine search filters, and I will show you in a few minutes how this is working. So to make this more vivid, how this workflow is working, I would like to introduce you to some people. So imagine you have Olivia, this is our first operator who is doing the evaluation in the profiler, and Olivia is rejecting the samples because there were mistakes found. Then we have Oliver operator, who is doing the second review, and he knows, or his decision would be to accept the samples because it's just dust on the scanner and no deviations or no errors that he detected. So both have a conflict. So we can resolve this conflict with a consensus decision. So both operators are talking to each other. What was the mistake? What is your impression of the sample? And they're coming to a consensus decision. And one of the operator is re-evaluating. And we have an overall rating to accept the sample. A similar decision or a similar process, we have Olivia again. She is rejecting the sample that she has been inspected. Then we have Oliver, who would accept the sample because it's not quality relevant, those deviations that Olivia has found. They still have the conflict, but in this case, they don't know what to do. There's no consensus possible, or they are not allowed to re-evaluate, and you're introducing a reviewer. In this case, it's Rebecca, reviewer, who is a third instance who can resolve this conflict. And then we have an overall rating of our evaluation. Which option and which variant of this workflow you choose depends on your workaround in your environment, but we are very happy to advise which would be the best fitting solution here, and it depends on your process. So finally, I can show you our programs live. I will stop this screen share for a second. I can share my other screen. Finally, we open the profiler. We are asked to type in our job credentials. It could be order and article number or anything that you wish. This is, we can adjust it to your requirements. We have different parameter settings. Those settings have predefined inspection settings. So we have different sensitivities for the inspection for a folding carton than a leaflet or a label. So these information are predefined. I can choose it here. I will load my PDF file. There's a layer dialog, or this dialog has all the information of my PDF. So in this case, it's layer separated. It's also possible to open or to show a color separated PDF with all the layers. When I hover with my mouse, I can have all the information that is in this PDF layer. I apply the settings. And in my environment, normally I would scan the production sample. I don't have a scanner at this second, so I'm loading a scanned image. And I can start the examination right away. And I want to highlight, because we have these settings here, that I'm not allowed to change any settings here. I can start the examination. And on the left-hand side, we have an overview of our scanned sample, including all the deviation that the system is showing. So the profiler is doing a pixel-based comparison and comparing the PDF against the sample. We have a close-up of our PDF at the top, and at the bottom, we have a close-up of our scanned image, including the suspicious areas. And we have a progress bar down below, which leads me through my inspection. To simplify this, I can use this toggle function. I can also adjust it on my keyboard, and now it's switching between the PDF and the scanned sample and showing me the exact evaluation. So there's a difference, and I have to evaluate, and it's quality relevant, this change as well. And we have on the left-hand side, you see this crossfader, which gives me, yeah, um, an, um, an overview or a localization of my defect. So if I'm not sure what is happening here, I can now take my sample from the scanner and have a deeper look into my sample. So this is a real mistake in this case as well. There we have an artwork shifting. It might happen in the printing process or in the process before that in the pre-press department. Someone has moved the picture a bit, and this could happen. So this was not intended, so I evaluate it as bad. And you see here the progress bar changes its color. So every deviation that I already evaluated is marked as red or green and jumps automatically to the next suspicious area that I have to evaluate. In this case, there's no mistake, but the shifting is too big. There's a 0 missing. It's just dust on the scanner. And this is, I as an operator can type in a comment, dust on the scanner. And this will be shown in the report, this comment. It's also possible to have a drop-down menu to choose predefined error groups, for instance, dust, graphical defect, color deviation, whatever you like. So you can also choose this drop-down menu or type in your comment freely. We are doing a pixel-based comparison, as I mentioned, so we are also able to detect defects in Arabic or any other language. Also in these Chinese letters. And you see here, I am not allowed to finish and sign the examination until I have evaluated the very last evaluation or deviation. And now I'm allowed to do a follow-up examination. For example, I have a backside or the backside of my leaflet in this case. I can do a follow-up examination and put everything in just one report, or I can finish and sign the examination. And I'd like to highlight also that it's not possible for me to go back to my acquisition screen, that I'm not allowed to do a rescanning or reloading of my sample. So we have really unique inspection results. Okay, I can finish and sign. And I have to type in a comment. For instance, deviations are critical. I will sign the report, and the report is now generating, or it's now generating my electronic signature. So it's very, it's defined who is allowed to do this job, and I have to sign in with my Windows credential that I am the same person who started the examination. Now the electronic signature is saved on my report and transferred to the database. which is here. I can refresh this. So this application simplifies the reviewing process independent of the time and the place. So I may have a night shift who is doing sample testing, and the day shift can do the reviewing process, or another team, or whoever likes it. We can select which kind of inspections or statuses I want to see. So we have ready for review. This is the overview. Yeah, what I, as the second person, have to do. In process, someone started the next examination, but it's not finished with the electronic signature. Then we have the accepted, rejected, and uh, accepted and rejected examinations. And aborted, something happened to the system, or no, not to the system, but someone canceled this inspection. We could find this information in the audit trailing. And conflicting is what I explained beforehand, that operator Olivia and the second person are not the same, are not having the same opinion. Okay, so our job is this one. I can open. I can see on the left-hand side the overall decision of my operator. With the red frame, I see this was rejected. And I can now see the full report. On the first page, we have an overview of the parameters that were chosen and a statistic on how many defects and how many items were found. We have the PDF, the scanned image, including all deviations, and a close-up with small pictures of every deviation that has been evaluated. So after checking this report, I have an opinion on that. In this case, just to show you how we are working with this conflict status, despite of there are real defects in this in the sample testing, but in case there are just dusts or anything, I would like to accept it just to show you how we have this conflict status. So it's the second operator, it's Oliver. And here again, it's just a demo workaround that I type in this user. Normally, you would sign in to your PC and your workstation, and you're signed in with the Windows credentials. When you open the review station, it will sign in or using the user's name in here automatically. So in case all these deviations that Olivia has detected before are, in Oliver's opinion, not quality relevant, he will accept. There's a second electronic signature created. In the background, we will see the overview or all signatures in the overall report. So if we go to our home screen, we see here there's the conflicting status of this. I can open again. So also independent of time and the place. And I can again see the whole report, give an overall rating. So in this case, it's our QC manager, Rebecca, who decides in the end what to do with the samples. So rejected and back to printer. Now the third electronic signature will be generated. And we see the first decision was rejected, the second decision is accepted, and the overall third and final decision is rejected. So we had the operators, and it would be a solution that both operators have the consensus and one of them is re-evaluating, or in this case, what I have shown is the third person who is resolving this conflict. The report is downloaded automatically, and I can go back to my home screen and could start the next evaluation. I would like to show you the report shortly. So we have the rejected reports. This is our report. Now we have a cover page of the report that we haven't seen in the review station. The cover page has very promotive in the foreground. It's rejected, the final decision. We have our order and article number and all electronic signatures, starting with the first inspection, the second person review, and the last and final review with the comments that we just typed in. And the following, just the report that we had with the parameter sets and the statistic of our inspection and the whole report. And we see here our comment that we typed in the Proofiler. So it's dust on the scanner. So this information is directly in the report. Okay, this was the examination with the Proofiler and the review in our review station. And now we can review our audit trailing. This is the audit trail viewer. I can load different data sources and select time periods. And I have the entry of everything that is concerning my PC, my Proofiler. And I have all the data here. I can select the date again. I can select different users who have logged in on this PC. I have different levels. So maybe I want to see errors or warnings or just information. They are categorized before. We have different categories relating general settings, the system in general, the configuration, examination, and so on and so forth. We have type. This is deeper into the coding of the Proofiler, but if you want to find a very specific entry, this is to make it much more detailed. And you can select different PCs. So this is my PC name. And you have the possibility to load predefined settings, in this case, parameter change. So every changing of parameter setting will be shown with this. And if I click on this event, I have a detailed information about this audit trail entry and more detailed information what has changed. And even if I changed the sensitivity of the system, let me check if I have this entry. Yes, for instance, I have changed the language of my Braille, and all these things are simply visualized in this audit trail viewer, and I can create a PDF report. I can save it on my desktop. So if you have these parameter change or these predefined settings, there could be quarterly check for parameter change, monthly check for critical entries or anything. So this you can predefine your settings as you like. So I will open the report, which is not visible. There. I have the audit trail report, the searching criteria, and all the entries that we just saw in the audit trail viewer. And even this document is more is simpler to identify and to read than a CSV file. And this document can also be saved automatically in your database or your storage. So these were the programs for our inspection, the EyeC Proofiler, the reviewing station, and the audit trail viewer. We had an insight of the different reports. And I would like to go back to my presentation. So talking about the documentation, this is very, very important that we prove or that we have this evidence of proof that the quality was measured and inspected throughout the entire process. So if you're producing food or medicine components, it's just a small part of the process, the inspection of the sample testing of your packaging material, but also it's part of the process and very important that this inspection is fully documented. So what we have is a full inspection report with the electronic signature of the EyeC Proofiler. We have the audit trail data in general, and we also have the audit trail review report as a PDF, like I have shown just a few minutes ago. And overall, it's also important to have the documentation that the system is, or that the profiler and all the applications are working properly, that they are doing the job as intended and applicable to the law and to all these requirements. When you buy a profiler, we are also selling this validation package and all these information. So we have an extensive package for the factory acceptance test, the site acceptance test with the installation and operational qualification. So a lot of paperwork for the evidence that our profiler is working properly. We are having a process qualification support. So if you need any support testing your sample materials and doing the process qualification, we can support you with this. We have sample user requirement specifications, all the certificates that are needed, comprehensive user manuals, and also quality assurance agreements. So shortly, everything that makes an auditor very, very happy. So overall, electronic packaging inspection can be very easy and gives you total security. So it's an objective inspection of a computer-based inspection system, and which does not overlook any mistakes. The traceability. So we are tracking all entries, all steps, and recording everything in the audit trailing and having a complete report of everything. Increased satisfaction because it's very easy to use this program. You will not need to fill out additional lists by hand or everything documented in this report. And you are finding all the deviations. And it's a time-saving system or workaround. So we are inspecting many parameters in just one step. Like I mentioned before, is the graphic, the text, codes, braille, everything in just one inspection cycle. And we also have the possibility for SAP and LIMS connection, which makes it even more smooth in your process. Thank you very much for your attendance in this deep dive webinar. If you have any other questions regarding your existing systems or the possibilities that we can give you with the new installation, please feel free to come to me or to our sales team. We are very happy to advise and discuss which inspection solution would be best fitting to your process and to your requirements. And yeah, thank you very much for your attendance and have a great day.